Shania Twain became one of the most successful artists in music history, selling over 100 million records and redefining country music on a global scale. Yet in 2008, her voice, her greatest weapon, began to fail her. What started as a single tick bite during a horseback ride quietly triggered Lyme disease, a condition doctors misdiagnosed for 7 years. By the time the truth emerged, the nerves controlling her vocal cords were permanently damaged. Singing became unpredictable. Speaking became difficult. This physical collapse unfolded alongside an emotional one, as her 14-year marriage disintegrated under betrayal. To understand how Shania survived losing her voice, her marriage, and her sense of stability, it is necessary to return to the beginning, long before stadiums, Grammys, and fame, when she was still a child learning that survival often required silence, endurance, and finding strength where none seemed to exist. She was born Eileen Regina Edwards on August 28, 1965, in Windsor, Ontario. Her early life fractured quickly. Her biological father left when she was 2, leaving her mother Sharon alone with 3 children. When Sharon remarried Jerry Twain, he adopted the girls and gave them his surname, but stability never followed. Violence, fear, and poverty filled the home. The family grew to 5 children, and Eileen learned early that survival meant obedience and silence. Poverty in the mining town of Timmins was relentless. Food shortages were common. She learned to chop wood, hunt, and walk long distances through brutal winters before she learned anything about childhood comfort. Music became her refuge. Singing gave her control in a world where she had none. Even as fear followed her through every room of the house, her voice became the one place where she felt powerful. By the age of 8, Eileen was singing in bars late at night to help support the family, performing behind metal screens while drunk crowds watched. She earned $20 a night. Music was no longer just comfort, it was survival. At school, she hid everything. Teachers never heard about the violence because she feared intervention would destroy the family entirely. Her mother struggled with depression, and responsibility fell unnaturally onto Eileen's shoulders. She cooked, cleaned, soothed her siblings, and braced herself for moments when Jerry's rage erupted. One night, she witnessed him brutally assault her mother, an image that permanently reshaped her understanding of love and danger. At 14, she helped her family flee to a shelter, only to return 2 years later when Sharon believed there was no other option. By then, Eileen's childhood was already gone. Despite everything, her talent kept growing. She wrote songs, practiced guitar late into the night, and appeared on national television while hiding her pain behind a smile. After high school, she worked grueling physical jobs planting trees in northern forests, finding peace in isolation and silence. Then, in 1987, tragedy struck. Her parents were killed instantly in a car accident, leaving 3 younger siblings behind. At just 22 years old, Eileen became their guardian. She abandoned her own ambitions and moved them to Huntsville, Ontario, where she worked non-stop to keep them together. At Deerhurst Resort, she performed night after night while managing bills, school schedules, and grief. Those 6 years were exhausting, but they kept her family safe. When her youngest sibling finally turned 18, she allowed herself to dream again, and chose a new name, Shania, meaning, on my way. Shania secured a record deal in 1992, but her debut album failed commercially. She had little creative control, and Nashville dismissed her quickly. Most labels prepared to move on. Except one listener. Producer Robert John Mutt Lang heard something others missed. He saw potential beneath the disappointment. Their collaboration transformed everything. They married in 1993 and created The Woman in Me, released in 1995. The album exploded, selling over 20 million copies worldwide and reshaping country music forever. Shania became the best-selling female artist in the genre's history. With Come On Over, she shattered even her own records, selling more than 40 million copies globally. Her success crossed genres, borders, and expectations. She won multiple Grammys and dominated charts worldwide. After decades of survival, she had finally reached a place where her voice was not only heard, but celebrated everywhere. In the early 2000s, Shania stepped back from recording to become a mother. Her album Up debuted at number 1 in 2002, but shortly afterward, her body began to betray her. During a tour, she was bitten by a tick. The symptoms came slowly: dizziness, blackouts, vocal instability, but doctors blamed stress. She continued performing, unaware Lyme disease was attacking the nerves controlling her voice. Years passed. By the time she was properly diagnosed, the damage was irreversible. Singing felt foreign. Her voice no longer obeyed her. At the same time, her marriage began to unravel. In 2008, she discovered her husband was having an affair with her closest friend. The betrayal shattered her emotionally, arriving while she was already mourning the loss of her voice. The very thing that had saved her since childhood. The divorce finalized in 2010, leaving Shania emotionally exposed and physically uncertain. She described that period as the most fragile of her life. Lyme disease had taken her confidence, and betrayal had taken her sense of safety. Yet from that devastation, an unexpected bond formed. She married Frederick Thibault in 2011, finding stability where she least expected it. Still, her voice remained broken. A neurologist confirmed that the nerve damage was permanent. In 2018, she underwent an awake vocal surgery, forcing her to sing and speak while surgeons implanted supports in her throat. The procedure was terrifying, but necessary. Recovery took years. She retrained her voice from scratch, learning to accept a new sound, raspier, lighter, different. It was not the voice she lost. It was the voice of someone who survived. Shania returned to the stage carefully. Las Vegas residencies gave her control over sound, pacing, and recovery. Fans embraced her changed voice with unwavering loyalty. She continued performing, adjusting expectations and honoring her limits. Doctors warned that further decline was possible, but Shania refused to disappear. Each performance became both an act of resilience and a continuation of healing. She practiced daily, monitored her voice closely, and treated every show as a gift rather than a guarantee. The girl who once sang to survive was now singing to reclaim herself. Even when speaking became harder than singing, she persisted. Her voice no longer symbolized perfection, it symbolized endurance. She was not returning to who she was. She was standing as who she had become. Into her late 50s and 60s, Shania continued pushing forward. Multiple residencies sold out. Tours resumed. She took on television roles and returned to global stages. In 2026, she prepared to perform at Wembley Stadium. An achievement she once believed impossible after losing her voice. She openly acknowledged her limitations while celebrating her survival. The fear of silence never fully left her, but it no longer controlled her. She understood now that her strength was not tied to vocal perfection, but to persistence. Every performance carried the weight of her journey, from hunger and fear to loss and reinvention. Her story was no longer about records sold. It was about refusal to disappear. Shania Twain's life is not a story of uninterrupted success. It is a story of survival through poverty, violence, grief, illness, betrayal, and reinvention. Her voice saved her as a child, defined her as an artist, nearly vanished, and returned transformed. She learned that resilience is not loud, it is consistent. It is choosing to stand again after everything familiar is taken away. Shania did not reclaim her past voice. She built a new one. And in doing so, she proved that identity is not lost when it changes. It evolves. Today, she stands not just as a music icon, but as a testament to endurance, the woman who sang her way out of silence, lost the sound that defined her, and still refused to stop singing.